Welcome to Connect Books, where we understand that sometimes life gets in the way of reading every book we want to. That's why we offer quick and convenient summaries of popular and influential books, so you can stay current on the latest literary trends without committing to a full read. From timeless classics to modern bestsellers, our summaries give you an overview of the key points of each book, allowing you to easily grasp the main ideas and takeaways. So, if you are looking for an efficient way to learn about some of the most talked about books, Connect Books is the place for you. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel to support our mission of bringing the best of the book world to you. Join us on a journey through this book with Connect Books. Let's discover its insights and lessons together. 0 to 1. A book by Blake Masters and Peter Thiel. 0 to 1 is a book written by Blake Masters and Peter Thiel, published in 2014. It is based on a series of lectures that Thiel, a co-founder of PayPal and Palantir Technologies, gave at Stanford University in 2012. The book is about entrepreneurship and innovation, and it argues that building a successful business requires more than just copying what others have done and competing in existing markets. Instead, it suggests that entrepreneurs should aim to create entirely new markets and industries, which Thiel calls going from 0 to 1. 0 to 1 is a book about entrepreneurship and innovation that argues that building a successful business requires more than just competing in existing markets. Instead, it suggests that entrepreneurs should aim to create entirely new markets and industries, which the authors call going from 0 to 1. The book is divided into three main parts. In the first part, the authors discuss the importance of building a monopoly in a new market, and they argue that competition is ultimately destructive. They also talk about the importance of creating a unique value proposition and finding a secret that allows a company to create a defensible competitive advantage. In the second part of the book, the authors discuss the various ways in which entrepreneurs can go from 0 to 1. This includes starting a new company, inventing a new technology, or creating a new market altogether. They also talk about the importance of recruiting the right team and building a strong corporate culture. Finally, in the third part of the book, the authors discuss the importance of thinking long-term and taking calculated risks in order to build a successful business. They also touch on the role of government in fostering innovation and the importance of global expansion. Overall, 0 to 1 is a thought-provoking book that challenges conventional wisdom about entrepreneurship and offers unique insights into what it takes to build a successful business. Book Part 1: Importance of Building a Monopoly in a New Market. In the first part of 0 to 1, the authors argue that building a monopoly in a new market is important for a number of reasons. First, monopolies are more profitable than companies that operate in competitive markets. This is because monopolies have the ability to set prices, rather than having to compete on price with other firms. As a result, they can earn higher margins and generate more cash flow. Second, the authors argue that monopolies are better able to innovate than companies that operate in competitive markets. This is because monopolies have more resources available to invest in research and development, and they have less pressure to focus on short-term results. As a result, they are able to take a longer-term view and make bigger bets on new technologies and ideas. Finally, the authors argue that competition is ultimately destructive. This is because In a competitive market, firms are constantly trying to outdo each other, which leads to a never-ending cycle of price wars, margin erosion, and overcapacity. This ultimately destroys value for everyone involved, including customers, employees, and shareholders. To illustrate the importance of building a monopoly in a new market, the authors give the example of Google, which built a monopoly in the search market. They point out that Google was able to do this by offering a better product than its competitors and by investing heavily in technology and innovation. As a result, Google was able to capture a large share of the market and generate tremendous profits. Book Part 2: Various Ways in which Entrepreneurs Can Go from Zero to One. In the second part of 0 to 1, the authors discuss the various ways in which entrepreneurs can go from 0 to 1. Going from 0 to 1 means creating something new and valuable, rather than just copying what others have done and competing in existing markets. One way to go from 0 to 1 is to start a new company. This involves identifying a new opportunity and building a business from scratch to take advantage of it. This can be a risky proposition, as starting a new company requires a lot of time, money, and effort. However, the reward for success can be significant, as new companies have the potential to create entirely new markets and capture a large share of them. Another way to go from 0 to 1 is to invent a new technology. This involves developing a new product or service that solves a problem or meets a need in a novel way. This can be especially challenging, as it requires a significant investment in research and development and a willingness to take risks. However, the potential reward for success is high, as new technologies have the potential to disrupt entire industries and create new markets. A third way to go from 0 to 1 is to create a new market altogether. This involves identifying a need or desire that is not being met and building a business to meet it. This can be especially challenging, as it requires a deep understanding of customer needs and the ability to create a value proposition that resonates with them. However, the potential reward for success is high, as new markets have the potential to generate significant profits and create value for all stakeholders. Overall, the authors argue that going from 0 to 1 requires a combination of creativity, vision, and execution, and it is a difficult but rewarding pursuit for entrepreneurs. Book Part 3: The Importance of Thinking Long-Term and Taking Calculated Risks. In the third part of 0 to 1, the authors discuss the importance of thinking long-term and taking calculated risks in order to build a successful business. The authors argue that most businesses fail because they focus too much on short-term results and not enough on long-term value creation. They suggest that entrepreneurs should be willing to sacrifice short-term gains in order to make bigger bets on new technologies, markets, and ideas. This requires a long-term mindset and a willingness to take risks. The authors also argue that taking calculated risks is essential for building a successful business. They suggest that entrepreneurs should be willing to take risks that are grounded in a deep understanding of their market and their customers, and that have the potential to create significant value. This requires careful planning and analysis, as well as the ability to adapt and pivot as needed. The authors also discuss the role of government in fostering innovation. They argue that governments can play a positive role by providing support for research and development, creating a favorable regulatory environment, and investing in infrastructure. Finally, the authors touch on the importance of global expansion for businesses. They argue that businesses that are able to succeed in multiple markets are more likely to achieve long-term success as they are able to capture a larger share of the global market and diversify their revenue streams. Overall, the third part of 0 to 1 emphasizes the importance of thinking long-term, taking calculated risks, and embracing global expansion in order to build a successful business. Major quotes from 0 to 1 and their explanations. Here are a few major quotes from 0 to 1 and their explanations. 1. The next Bill Gates will not build an operating system. The next Larry Page or Sergey Brin won't make a search engine. If you are copying these guys, you aren't learning from them. This quote suggests that it is important for entrepreneurs to be creative and think outside the box when building a business. The authors argue that simply copying what others have done is not enough to create a successful business. Instead, entrepreneurs should aim to create something new and valuable rather than just competing in existing markets. 2. A startup is the largest endeavor over which you can have definite mastery. You can have agency not just over your own life, but over a small and important part of the world. It begins by rejecting the unjust tyranny of chance. You are not a lottery ticket. This quote emphasizes the importance of taking control of your own destiny and building something meaningful. The authors argue that entrepreneurship is a way to have agency and make a positive impact on the world rather than just being at the mercy of chance. 3. The future is not just a list of possibilities, it's a list of possibilities that you can create. This quote suggests that entrepreneurs have the power to shape the future by creating new markets and industries. The authors argue that entrepreneurs should aim to create something new and valuable rather than just competing in existing markets. 4. The question you should ask when you think about a business is not can this be done? Instead, ask should this be done? This quote emphasizes the importance of considering the ethical and moral implications of a business idea. The authors argue that entrepreneurs should not just focus on whether something is technically feasible, but also on whether it is something that should be done. 5. The best founders are like artists. They have a vision for what they want to create and are willing to take big risks to make it a reality. This quote highlights the importance of creativity and vision in entrepreneurship. The authors argue that the best founders are those who are able to see things that others do not and are willing to take risks to bring their vision to life. Key takeaways. Here are some key takeaways from 0 to 1. 1. Building a monopoly in a new market is important for a successful business. Monopolies are more profitable than companies that operate in competitive markets, and they are better able to innovate. 2. Entrepreneurs should aim to create something new and valuable, rather than just competing in existing markets. This can be done by starting a new company, inventing a new technology, or creating a new market altogether. 3. Recruiting the right team and building a strong corporate culture is essential for success. 4. Thinking long-term and taking calculated risks is important for building a successful business. 5. Governments can play a positive role in fostering innovation by providing support for research and development, creating a favorable regulatory environment, and investing in infrastructure. 6. Global expansion is important for businesses that want to achieve long-term success. 7. Entrepreneurship is a way to have agency and make a positive impact on the world rather than just being at the mercy of chance. 8. The best founders are those who are able to see things that others do not and are willing to take risks to bring their vision to life. About authors. 0 to 1 was written by Blake Masters and Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel is a co-founder of PayPal and Palantir Technologies, and he is also a prominent venture capitalist and author. He has a bachelor's degree in philosophy from Stanford University and a JD from Stanford Law School. In 2012, Thiel gave a series of lectures on entrepreneurship and innovation at Stanford University, which formed the basis for 0 to 1. Blake Masters is a business and law student at Stanford University. He took Thiel's lectures on entrepreneurship and innovation, and he later worked with Thiel to turn them into the book 0 to 1. Masters is also the co-founder of Judicata, a legal research company, and he is the author of the Blake Masters reading list.